There are 6 areas in which your business can establish itself as a value-adding one. In this video, which is all about value-added services, we profile each of them in order to help you establish what will work best for your practice. Let's go right into it. Value-added service number 1, excellence and efficiency. This can be no other way of explaining this, but if excellence is not the only acceptable standard in your business or in the practice that you are working for, then anything else is a complete waste of time. And what we mean by this, strategic and operational requirements of the business need to be running smoothly and efficiently. Number 2, expectation levels of what the business can achieve needs to constantly be increasing. And you can only do that if you understand what the consumer expectations and requirements are. Are we exceeding expectations with each and every single person that walks into the practice? Are we going over and above that which they are experiencing at any other form of business that they go into? What sets our practice apart when a person walks in through our doors that they don't experience anywhere else? So you need to be thinking along those lines whenever a consumer walks into the practice, that what will make this person feel like, wow, I've never experienced this. This is the best possible place that I have actually walked in. Just everything about it is excellent. That's how you need to approach your consumers. That's how you need to have that mindset on a day-to-day basis as a practice. And so you need to be prioritizing things that will speak or add value the most towards ensuring that the practice is operating at the highest possible level of excellence. If what you are doing does not directly influence the level of excellence in the practice, then you're wasting time. Everything else that you're busy with, it means it has no value in ensuring that the practice is operating at this level. And so as a value-added service, you need to be prioritizing excellence. Very, very important. And that's why we put it as number 1. And then the second component is accountability and leadership. We say here, there has to be an ownership mentality by staff pertaining to the vision. And so that can only happen when there's a connection between the owner of the business and the employees in the business. How does that connection work actually? There's this thing about the vision of the business impacts the leader, right? So the extent to which the owner or the optometric ownership team is stretched by their vision determines how big their vision becomes. The team can only go as far as, or can only grow as far as they see the leader go, right? The business can only grow as far as the team is willing to go. That's how it works. So as a business leader, your job is to take your team to a level that they have never been before. When you do that, they will take the business to a level it has never been before. But that can only happen when they are connected with you. You guys are speaking one voice in the practice between the team and the leader. And so when that connection happens, it means your vision as the business owner results in the aspiration of the team. That's what can result in your team members or the optometric team or you as an eyewear consultant having ownership mentality that, wait a minute, I'm employed as an eyewear consultant in this practice. This is what I'm responsible for. This is how I add value in my area of expertise. This is how I can harness, grow my skills. And this is what I bring to the table. And always get to the point whereby you are operating at the level at which it's very difficult to replace you. The easier it is for you to be replaced, the quicker that's going to happen. The more difficult it is for you to be replaced, the more your optometric career or your career within the optometric industry can actually go to greater heights. And so always get yourself to a point whereby you always upskilling yourself as an individual within the optometric practice. And so if you're an optometrist that is watching this, people development and growth needs to be a top investment that happens in the optometric practice. Are you growing your people? Are you taking them to a level that they have never been before? What skills are you training them on? How are you imparting new ways of doing things compared to old ways of doing things? How are you stretching them? How are they stretching you? How are you working together as a team to build optometric practice? So there has to be a give and take on both sides. Very, very important. And so that's how the vision of the practice is going to expand and take that practice to a whole different level. So accountability and leadership are critical when it comes to value-added services, because consumers are going to pick up that, wait a minute, there's leadership here. How will that be translating in a practical scenario? Patient will walk in with a complaint and they're dealing with the staff member. The staff member knows that they didn't do anything wrong, that the optometric team is the one that perhaps failed the patient in that particular scenario. There will not be, sir, I don't know, but I will find out. No, you will take responsibility as a practice. Same applies with a staff member did not do something, a patient complains to the optometric owner. The optometric owner will not just be blaming the staff member in front of the patient. That's even worse. What will happen is there will always be an ownership mentality of any scenario that presents itself, especially when you're dealing with the public. Internally, you will deal with whatever mess that has happened on a one-to-one basis or whatever protocol that you are following. But you want to get to a point whereby accountability and leadership is so strong in the culture of the organization that people have an ownership mentality in terms of taking responsibility, taking the lead, making decisions, going out of their way to find solutions. Next one, which is my favorite one and so important, great service delivery. There has to be an increase in demand for services rendered and products sold. They can only happen when service delivery is at an all-time high. Service delivery is what yields the sales in the business. When service delivery goes up, sales goes up. When service delivery goes down, sales start to drop. And so every time or any activity that takes place in the practice needs to be on the basis of, is this great service delivery that has just been initiated here? If it's not, why do it? And so service delivery, when it grows, it results in you having the opportunity to build loyalty between yourself as a optometric practice and the consumers. And so loyalty then will be birthed as a result of the great service delivery that's in the practice. And great service delivery, and which results in great loyalty or continuous loyalty growing, results in your brand being able to expand. Because the great thing that you could ever have as a practice is when people start talking about you based on the service delivery, not necessarily about your products. You can have the best products, you can have amazing team, but when your service delivery is better than any of those things, it just makes the way people talk about your business far better. When people talk about value and they're talking about it from a service delivery point of view, it's far more impactful than any other thing. So that's what you want, that when people are making reference to the value that they get from your practice and they're making reference to the value pertaining to service delivery, that, my friend, goes far beyond any marketing, selling strategies, pricing that you could have that is great. Service delivery is critical. And so even you as an eyewear consultant or as a sales consultant or administrative staff, service delivery is in things like making sure that you call the patient before they call you, following up, returning phone calls when you said you will return them, getting in touch with suppliers long before a problem is out of your control, identifying that, wait a minute, we're going to have a problem, making sure that that which you have promised the patient, you are exceeding on the delivery. So those are the things that will be seen on service delivery. Work ethic is going to go up. Going the extra mile type of attitude is going to be what will be the norm in the practice. So you have to have that for yourself. You cannot be great at service delivery in where you are working or in the environment that you're working in if you don't see yourself in that manner yourself as an individual. So this has got nothing to do with the practice. This has got everything to do with you as an individual. That a person of your word? Are you a person that delivers? Because when you deliver, it speaks directly into, it does not matter where you are planted, it does not matter where you are working. Wherever you are, that's your nature. That's what you want to get to as a person, where your nature is a nature of great service delivery. It will come across in what you say, what you're thinking about, how you behave, how you act. Whatever you do, it will come across. Next, as a business, as a value-added services, whatever that you do can have great influence in terms of increasing the productivity and the profit margins in the practice. And so you obviously are in business to make massive growth sales and turnover, right? And think about it this way, especially as a consultant or administrative person or an employee in an optometric practice. When you can prove what you bring to the table that is adding to the value of that business, you are able to negotiate for better incentives for yourself. You are in a better position to negotiate better salary, better commission, because you are contributing more than the norm towards the turnover of that particular practice. So whatever that you do, always think that my activity in the long run impacts the business in this manner. So the more of those great activities that I'm doing that I can keep track of, I stand a better chance of being able to then negotiate better for myself. And by the way, people that grow in the eye care industry are those that are catalysts, are those that don't sit in the normal way of doing things or in their comfort zones, are those that step out of their comfort zones and decide to operate at this level. And so if you know that as a consultant, this is the role that I'm playing and that I'm contributing towards increasing the productivity and the profit margins in the business will reward you for that. It's a given fact. That's how it works. Next, discipleship management. What do we mean by this? Everything that has to do with value-added services will be as a result of the commitment levels. So where is your commitment level as a staff member? If the environment that you're working in does not result in you having to raise up the level of commitment that you have in that particular organization, you're working in the wrong industry, you're working in the wrong practice. So find a place that can result in you being more committed in that environment. And obviously, if you are watching this as a team, it has to speak directly to the company culture, the vision, the leadership in the practice. The environment that is being created in the optometric practice can result in people bringing their commitment levels to the level at which the business requires. And so the only way that commitment levels can actually increase is when there's a constant cultivation and development of people in the optometric practice. Because at the end of the day, employees are the most valuable resource and asset that the optometric practice has in any eye care related organization. And so great working environments result in people increasing their commitment levels. And that's the disciple management that we mean, is that it's not about rules and regulations with which the many optometric practices finding themselves dealing with all the time. You need to create an environment where you are harnessing people, you are upskilling them, you are creating an environment for growth, you're teaching them new skills, you are learning new skills as well as a consultant. And so it applies both ways, from the side of the optometrist and the staff, the side of the employees. Create an environment where you are learning as much as you possibly can. You're going out of your way to learn, to grow, to develop yourself. And the same needs to be happening from the optometric side. And that's how disciple management works. There's the training stage, there's the support stage, and then there's the growth stage. All those different stages are very, very critical towards the management and the leadership that will be required for the business to be adding value to its consumers. And lastly, organizational development and transformation. A lot of people say that there are limited growth opportunities in optometry. They are absolutely incorrect. There's a lot of times that optometric practices are doing things that could actually be done by the staff members. So when you don't see opportunity, you create opportunity for yourself in the optometric practice. People that grow in this industry are those that create opportunities within the environment that they're working for. The more opportunities that you can identify, that you can say, hey, how about we do this? How about we do that? What do you think of this? Hey, I'm thinking we can approach this scenario like this. When you bring solutions to the table, you are able to identify more problems. But people that are just complaining all the time don't see the opportunity, don't see the growth potential, and they will never be financially rewarded. The business will never expand because no one is pulling their weight, whether it be from the optometric side, whether it be from the employee side. If you find that you have done all of that and you're saying, Obi, I've done all of that and still nothing, then move on. Simple as that. Move on to the next place that can be able to create an environment where there's organizational development and transformation taking place. If you feel that you're not growing and you're doing everything that you know you're supposed to be doing in that particular environment, then move on. Don't stay in a place that you feel like you're not growing and now it's resulting in you compromising on your work ethic. It's now resulting in you compromising on how you know you're supposed to be as an employee. And if you are a business owner listening into this or watching this, and you know that you are not pulling up your staff, you will not be able to get the best out of them because you're not putting in the best that you can in them in order for you to pull that out of them. So it's very, very simple that there's organizational development and transformation that is taking place. That can only take place when there's professional growth opportunities that are constantly being established. Examples, your social media. Who are you training in your staff to start taking over your social media stuff? I've got lots of optometric practices that we have worked with in the last couple of years, whereby a staff member went on a social media course. This one went on a HR course. This one went on a, there's so many things that as a business owner, you can actually do in developing your team. Here's the thing. A lot of optometrists will then say, but what if I develop my team and then they go and find better opportunities elsewhere? That's what you want. Because you're not training them for your practice. You're creating a norm in your practice that is based on a certain level of standard. So you need to make sure that you train your staff well enough for them to be able to go, but create an environment that is so awesome that they are not able to go and that they choose for themselves to stay. And even if they go, it means the norm in terms of your standards in your practice would have been increased to a certain level, that whoever comes in next is coming in at that level, not at a low level. Because the worst thing that you can do is make that call that you're not going to train your staff and then they stay and add absolutely no value whatsoever to your business. That will be the worst thing that you could actually do as a business owner. And so create an environment where people can grow in as many opportunities, in as many ways as you possibly can. And those are the 6 different ways in which you can provide value-added services from an internal point of view. That is excellence and efficiency, accountability and leadership, great service delivery, increased productivity and profit margins, discipleship management, organizational development and transformation. And so all these things that we mentioned have got nothing to do with marketing, selling strategies, promotions, all of that. It has everything to do with the culture of the practice that you're working in, the internal culture that will influence the external results of the optometric practice. And so that's basically what we wanted you to be able to be aware of. The next phase or the next video training will be on the ideal optometric practice. And so we look forward to you just enjoying this course and going through this course step by step, following one video at a time, one course at a time, and go throughout the course like that. Don't skip, go continue course after course.